we'll just use that 5% that we did before, okay? And so your 5%, we're going to need to use that decimal equivalent. We need to move that decimal 2 places to the left, so 0.05. Okay, so that's that sales tax. Again, remember in Ohio, I believe it's like 6 1/4, 6.25 or 6.75. Okay, so let's take a look at what we do. So for the fridge here, if it's $1,095, you're going to take that $10.95 times that decimal percentage. So you're going to always want to use that decimal percent. Some calculators have a percent button. The ones back here, I don't believe they do. So you're going to have to convert that decimal, okay? So if we do that, I always want you rounding, unless they say otherwise, for this to the nearest penny, okay? So if we round that to the nearest penny, we're going to get 54.75. Okay? Now, remember, for the monthly payments, it says for 18 months. We have to add we need the total price. Okay? So first we need the total. Now the total price will be our cost of the fridge plus our sales tax. So if we add the $10.95 to the $54.75, we get $1,149.75. You're going to take that total. It's always, in this case, total divided by 18 because we have to break it into 18 pieces. Now, we're assuming that the cost that they show us is including any fees to let us do this, to make those payments, because usually they're going to add something on there. But if we divide by 18, usually at this point, you don't get anything that looks like money correctly, okay? So if we divide that by 18, our calculator is going to read 63.875. I want you to always make sure you're rounding to the nearest penny. Since behind that 7 is a 5, if it's 5 or greater, remember, you're going to round that up. So our monthly payments would be $63.88. Now, what I've seen, because I'm old and I've lived life a little bit, is let's say that at nearing the end, if you're like a penny too much or something like that, that last payment might be a penny more or a penny less, but they adjust it usually on that very last payment, okay? Everybody good with that so far? Okay, let's do the next one. So we're going to take and find the sales tax. So this is our sales tax. By multiplying by that decimal percent, 0.05. So we're going to do $7.95, the percent as a decimal. And this one came out to the nearest penny, $39.75. So we have to add that on to the cost of our gas range, our gas stove. So you're going to add that on. Our total cost for our items are $834.75. But remember, to find our monthly payment, we got to divide that by 18. If it said it was 24 months, we divide by 24. If it's 12 months, whatever the case may be. And so if we divide by 18, this one, again, doesn't come out great. So when you see 3 decimal places, remember, you're always, from the second place, looking behind it. If behind it is 5 or more, please round up. So in this case, our monthly payment would be $46.38. Okay, so I think you get the idea of what you're going to be doing. Now, as far as the total goes, please total up that column. You'll be able to just total up the tax. You don't have to multiply by 0.05, but that's where you can check your work. And then you can total up the payments as well. So just total each column. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Are you okay? Okay. Okay. So I'm going to give you a minute, please, to answer the questions or fill in your chart and answer the questions. You can do up to problem number 3, please, at this time. Do up to problem number 3. I'll do it as well, so you can, what I want you to do, because we're getting ready for the test next week, just, try each one and then look up, are you doing it right, okay? So take a minute and go up to number 3 at this time. We're ready to go up to number 3, and I'll do mine, and you do yours. We'll kind of do it together. And then we'll talk about number 4 as soon as everybody's ready. Okay, so my answers are up on the board. Check your work with mine. Make sure you're getting the same values I am. And then we'll move on once everybody's ready to number 4, once we get to that point. So just make sure you're getting it, because the quiz will cover, the test will cover all this stuff. So let's just make sure you're doing it with me correctly. I think the test will be Tuesday. Most everybody's at the same spot. Do we have any questions about the chart, what we see so far? Do we have any questions about the chart that you see so far? Okay, so now I believe everybody is close to being ready to go on to number 4 and 5. Let's take a look. It says, if Mary got a discount on her fridge at 20%, how much would she pay for the fridge, not including the sales tax? So let's go back up to the fridge. It was $1,095 originally. I believe, let's make sure. Yep, okay, so that's the fridge's cost. Now remember how to calculate the discounted price. You're going to multiply by 20%. 20% uses that decimal place 2 places over. You can always divide by 100 if you're unsure of where the decimal place should go. That's going to be 0.20. So that decimal place right here, you can't see it, it's at the back. You would move it to the left, that's why it becomes 0.20. The 0 is a helpful thing to show you where that decimal place is as you enter into your calculator. Okay, so we're going to multiply this times 0.20 to see how much they're taking off. Okay. Huh? What is it?
219.
Thank you. It came out exactly?
Yeah, if you did the multiplication, you get 219.
Perfect. Okay, so now that's the amount we're going to take off. So it says how much would she pay for the fridge, not including the sales tax? We have to take the $1,095 and minus off the $219. And so before they put the sales tax in, that would be $876 is what she's going to pay for the fridge. Now, it says how much would she pay including the sales tax. So we have to calculate the sales tax on the new price. So remember how we did it earlier by that 5%. So let's take our $876 times 5%. Let's calculate what they're going to charge us for sales tax. So if we multiply that by 0.05, remember 5% is the decimal 0.05, we're going to get $43.80. Now the calculator will say 43.8. Show that 0 on the end, so you always want to show that 2 places for money, or, because that's going to be where your cents end. And then how much would she pay including the tax? That including kind of gives you that idea. We have to add that back on. So this is going to be that 876 plus that 43.80. That is a total of $919.80. Now, if we go back up to the chart, you can see that originally she was paying $1,150-ish for the fridge. So that 20% really saved her quite a bit of money, okay? Saved her that $219. And it saves you a little tax, too, because you're not taxed on that full $1,000 amount, okay? Any questions about number 4? Okay, let's move on to 5. It says, what if Mary got a 10% discount for all 4 items at once? Okay, so now we're going to use this amount right here. Okay, so she's going to get 10% off of the entire total, $2,674. So let's go down 200. And let's see how it works out. I said, what would be the cost for each item? See how there's like 4 blanks? That's why there's 4 blanks. Okay. So I'm going to show you a shortcut. Okay. So $10.95. That was our first. That was the fridge. Let me just write these down so I have them. $7.95, $5.95, and $1.89. Okay. So one interesting thing about percentages is if we think about the fact that they are taking off 10%, the original thing is 100% of what it should cost. So if they take off 10%, what percent is left that we have to pay? If they take off 10%, it's 90%. So what's really cool, what you can do is if you do the subtraction first, and if we just multiply this by 90%, we have effectively taken off the 10% and left us what's left. So if we do times 0.90, you can do it very quickly. And if I go shopping and I go, oh, they take off 10%, if you multiply by 0.90, you get the price immediately. So it's just a really nice shortcut. So let's do each one. If we do $10.95 times 0.90, we get $985.50. $7.95 times 0.90 is $715.50. $585 times 0.90 is $526.50. And then 189 times 0.90 is $170.10.
It's not.
Yeah.
$5.95 times.
Oh, $595, thank you. Okay, so did I get them right? $10.95, $7.95, $5.95, and $189? Is that right? Thank you. Thanks for catching that for me. Okay, well, that's $5.95 times 0.90 is $535.50. Okay, there we go. Okay. Says what would be the sales tax for each. Now, we're still going to use our 5%, which is 0.05. So let's calculate the sales tax for each one. So we have the totals up there, $985.50. So we're going to do $985.50 times 0.05. That's going to be our sales tax there. Now you're going to start getting, because you have all, 2 decimal places here and 2 decimal places in that 0.05, expect you might get 3 decimal places, and that's okay, okay? Just make sure, like the instructions say, to round to the nearest penny. So we got $49.28 for the fridge. Somebody want to share what they got for the one that was $17.50? Anybody want to share what they got for their tax for the next one? For this one right here, $17.50. $17.15.50. Anybody want to share what they got? Somebody share, let's see. Aubrey, did you get the tax for that one yet? Tommy, did you get the tax for this second one? Oh, Xavier, tell me.
35.775.
And so that 35.775 is what your calculator reads. That's great. But make sure we round that to the nearest penny. So that's a 7. So what should we take it up to?
78.
Yeah, since there's a 5 behind it, make sure you're rounding that up to the nearest penny. And so we would get 35.78. Okay. So let's do the 535.50. Now we're going to multiply by 0.05. 535.50 times 0.05. The calculator is going to read more decimal places than we need. So it's going to read 26,775. Jackson, how should we take this 26.775 and round it? What should we write? Yep. So it's going to be 2678. Thank you. And then our last one here, our 170.10 multiplied by 0.05 will tell us the sales tax. The calculator reads 8.505. Again, that 5 on the end tells us instead of 50 cents that they would charge us $8.51. Okay. Okay. So now we're going to need to use our values we got in 5, A and B, to calculate C. Now remember what we did. We did the total, okay? We did the total divided by 18. So that's what we have to do again to figure out what our new total will be in this bottom here. Okay, so let's do that. So our first total are these two, $985.50 and $49.28. So add those up on your calculator. And I got $1,034.78. I got to divide that by 18. Now, every time we do another division, you are going to have to watch that decimal place, okay? So we're going to have to watch those decimal places. And so if we divide that by 18, let me tell you what you get. Your monthly payment would be $57.49. Now, if we compare it up to the top of your paper, we were paying $63.88. That 10% saved us, a little bit of money. So our new payment now is that 60 or 57.49. Okay, now let's do these two. 715.50 plus 35.78. Okay, so that's the total for, I think it was a range or some kind of stove or something. So the total was 751.28. Got to divide that into 18 installments. When we divide it by 18, it's going to be funky. Round it to 2 decimal places every time. So it's 41.74 is what you should get there. Okay. Now we got to do that thing. I don't know what the third thing was. Oh, dishwasher. So the dishwasher was $535.50 and the $26.78. So you're going to take your total, $562.28, divide that by 18. Try the last one on your own. I'll show you the value in a second once everybody has done it. This total here was $31.24. $31.24. And then the last values we have to use are these two together. Okay, so try that last one for the microwave. You have to use this value and let's see, this value and this value. Okay, so try that for the microwave, and I'll do mine too, and then we'll make sure we're getting the same values, okay? So here's the microwave information. And check to make sure you got the same number I did. That'll make sure you're getting ready for the test. You should have got $9.92. That's that 178.61 divided by 18 again. So just follow, whatever pattern. If they're saying 18, you're dividing by 18. 12, whatever. Everybody got those ones? Okay, now it says, how much would Mary pay altogether? Now, see these numbers I've written here? That was the total for the item after the discount and the tax. So what we're going to do for this line is we're just going to add all of these values together. So let me write those down for you. So that was that 1034.78, 562.28, 751.28, and 178.61. Okay. So you're just totaling up what the tax and the amount is for each. Okay. So just add those up. And that's what they mean in that section. And when I give it to you on the test, I don't like this section as much as I liked the chart because the chart was so organized. So you'll have a little chart that you can fill in for the test. And I got, and you guys can check me, $2,526.95. Is that what you guys got? And what's nice is, you can go back up to the original. That was like 2,600 and something. So we are less than that. And so that's a good sign that we did it right. Okay. And then how much would she pay each month altogether? We have to just add up the monthly payments. So we're going back to C one more time and adding up those monthly payments. So if we add up the monthly payments, 56 or 57.49, just add those up. per monthly payments, total $140.39. Yeah, that looks about right. Okay. So I'll give you a chart on the test that has the price of some items, some discounts, the sales tax. We'll total everything up and then even have some monthly installments like that, okay? Everybody good with that section there? Okay, we good so far? Okay, now let's take a look at number 6. It says Sam really needs to make sure he's getting the best buy. One of the items on his shopping list is peanut butter. He has 3 options. That's a heck of a lot of peanut butter. That's like a kilogram is 2.2 pounds of peanut butter. You know how much peanut butter that is? Anyway, in order to compare things, you need to know the unit price. And on the last quiz we took, some of you were swapping your division in the unit price. It is always cost divided by quantity. Cost divided by quantity. That's what it is. Some of you were doing quantity divided by cost. It's cost, because think about it. It's the cost per kilogram. It's the cost per pound. It's the cost per egg. So the cost is what we say first. The per is division. And then the quantity is what we say last. Cost per egg means cost divided by how many eggs we got. So follow the logic of it. Follow what we say, and it will help you, okay? So first, this was just $7.99 divided by 1, which is just $7.99. So, we can do that very quickly. The second one, we have to do $8.90 divided by 1.5, because it would be the cost for a kilogram then. And then we can compare it. And so I'm going to leave these ones out and just kind of show what the calculator says. Here's why. If 2 of them are very close in number, and if I round it, I might not see exactly which one's the better price. So for unit cost or unit price, that's one where I kind of just leave it be, and then I have a better comparison, okay? And so then finally here, it would be $14.50 divided by 2.5. Now, they say that larger quantities are usually the better deal, and many times they are, but not always. So doing the unit price is helpful. Some stores, like I don't know if Walmart does it, but I know Giant Eagle on that rack, they'll say on the sticker where the price is, they'll say sometimes a per ounce price or a per whatever unit price. And so that's a way you can compare what's the better deal for you. But you always got to remember, if I buy too much, is it going to go to waste, And so this one I got 5.8. How should I write that for money? 5.8. You got it. You got to put that 0 on there. Okay. And then you just got to compare what's the smallest one. And so of those numbers, one is clearly smaller than the rest. And again, it's not always the largest, bulk price, but it is in this case. So the answer is C. So he should buy the one that's 2.5 kilograms. I mean, that's like 6 pounds of peanut butter. How big would a 6-pound container of peanut butter be? Anyway, there you go. So there's number 6. Any questions about unit price? Huh?
One of the small dogs actually.
That's like a 16 ounce. Is that a pound? Like the biggest jar like of peanut butter, is that a pound? I don't know. You need to look now. Okay. So there's that one. Let's take a look at number 7. It says Shelley wants to buy some bulk flour, but she's not sure which is cheaper. Flour comes in 15 kilogram bags for $9.99 or 3 kilogram bags for $3.50. What is the cost of 15 kilograms if she buys the 3 kilogram bags? So here's another way we can compare cost. How many of these bags would she have to buy in order to get up to 15 kilograms?
5.
Yeah, you got 5, right? 3 goes into 15 5 times. I'd need to buy 5 of those. So if I did the 350 and I bought 5 of those, because I needed 15, 350 each for 5 bags is a total of $17.50. Okay. She's paying a lot more by getting 5 of the small ones compared to just getting one of the big, large containers, the $9.99 flour. So how much does she save if she buys that bigger bag? What math could we do to find out how much she's saving?
1750 minus 2.
Yeah, you just subtract them, right? So let's do that. So we're going to take the 1750 and we're going to minus off the $9.99. And she's going to save, what is it, $7.51? Yeah, she's going to save $7.51 by buying that larger bag right off the bat. Now here, again, when you're purchasing things like that, let's say that we were making like a giant batch of cookies for, like, say, a holiday party or something, that bigger bag would be helpful. But if we're going to waste it, so that's the debate you have as a good consumer, okay? Any questions about 7? Are we good for that one? Okay, let's go to 8. Alice just wants to buy 1 apple. Apples are 4 for $5. How much is 1 apple? So it's actually a unit price when they say how much is one of anything, and it's still the same thing. It is cost divided by quantity. A unit price is a price of one of those things. So just remember in your calculator, we're going to put 5 divided by 4. Yeah, it's $1.25. Okay, so it's price divided by quantity. Again, that was one thing I noticed quite a few of you switch those things around. So make sure you're always putting cost in your calculator first, divided by quantity. Okay, moving on to number 9. That's a lot on 9, isn't there? Okay. Okay, huh? What time is it? We're getting close, aren't we? Yeah, why don't we stop here? Please take a picture where you're at. We'll start with number 9 tomorrow. We can hang out here for a little bit until it's time. And then we'll finish up tomorrow. And then Monday we'll review and do like a very summary of everything that will be on the test. And your test is Tuesday. I can, sure.